Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1831B, and today's date is April 2nd, 2019, and the title of the episode is, They Thought They Were Safe, Nobody Could Touch Them, They Were Wrong. Now, before we get started, I want to talk about security and VPNs. Why are countries banning the use of VPNs? With Russia being the latest to demand VPNs restrict user access to the internet, they will now join a bunch of countries who have already banned VPNs, including Belarus, China, Egypt, North Korea, Turkey, and more. The question is, why are they doing this? It's simple. VPNs are not only powerful, but extremely useful for well-informed citizens. That's why entire countries are working to ban them. Is the United States next? Will they start to ban the use of VPNs for its citizens? Let's hope not, as your privacy is yours and only yours. I personally like Virtual Shield VPN. They are by far the easiest and fastest VPN around. With their no-log policy, it protects its users' anonymity from any potential data breaches. This month, Virtual Shield is offering an Easter special of 40% off all VPN plans and all premium add-ons, including Protection Plus, residential access, monthly maintenance, phone support, and VIP performance plans for as low as $3 per month. Sign up for a 30-day free trial to Virtual Shield VPN and see what the hype is all about. You have nothing to lose. Protect your personal data now with a VPN. Get 40% off this month clicking the link below. Let's get into the economic collapse, political and geopolitical news. Now, the deep state, they thought they were safe, that nobody could touch them, but they're completely wrong. And what we're seeing right now is that there are investigations that are happening all over the world, not just here in the United States. And I believe all these investigations are going to come together in the very end. And there's going to be many individuals that are going to be indicted and they're going to stand trial. And we're starting to see a lot of this already. Q is already letting us know that Ukraine is doing some sort of investigation into Hillary Clinton manipulating the elections. Ukraine was involved. But there are other investigations going on in Ukraine. And I believe the focus is not Russia, but it is Ukraine. And we're starting to see a lot of things come out of Ukraine, a lot of people that are implicated with Ukraine in criminal activities. But before we get to that, I wanted to go to Trump and healthcare. And we know Obamacare was ruled to be unconstitutional. And Trump came out and said, listen, I'm going to postpone the plans for the great health care plan that I have until after the elections. He tweeted out the following. Everybody agrees that Obamacare doesn't work. Premiums and deductibles are far too high. Really bad health care. Even the Dems want to replace it. But with Medicare for All, which could cause 180 million Americans to lose their beloved private health insurance, the Republicans are developing a really great healthcare plan with far lower premiums, cost, and deductibles than Obamacare. In other words, it will be far less expensive and much more usable than Obamacare. Vote will be taken right after the election when Republicans hold the Senate and win back the House. It will be truly great health care that will work for America. Also, Republicans will always support pre-existing conditions. The Republican Party will be known as the party of great health care. Meantime, the USA is doing better than ever and is respected again. And I believe he is waiting until after the elections because I don't think he has the votes right now. He doesn't have the House. He has the Senate, but he needs the House. And I don't think it's going to work without having both. Because there are still those individuals that are part of the deep state system that don't want Obamacare out of the picture. They make a lot of money off of Obamacare. The insurance companies make a lot of money off the Obamacare insurance. And they don't want to see this go. And a lot of these individuals have investments in these companies. Now, Biden is having a huge amount of trouble here. First, we had this woman that came up and said, listen, he grabbed me by the shoulders, rubbed me in a weird way, and it wasn't nice. Now, another woman from Connecticut claims that Biden touched her inappropriately and rubbed noses with her during a 2009 political fundraiser in Greenwich, Connecticut. She went on to say, it wasn't sexual, but he grabbed me by the head. He put his hand around my neck and pulled me in to rub my nose with me. When he was pulling me in, I thought he was going to kiss me on the mouth. I never filed a complaint, to be honest, because he was the vice president. I was nobody. There's absolutely a line of decency. There's a line of respect. Crossing that line is not grandfatherly. It's not cultural. It's not affection. It's sexism or misogyny. And we can see that the mainstream media, they're out there protecting him. We see certain individuals are protecting him, and he's running into a lot of problems right now. But I don't believe that this is his main problem. I believe his main problem is going to be in Ukraine, along with Hillary, along with Obama, and the rest of them. Now, do you remember back when Ukraine was in the middle of regime change? The U.S., and I shouldn't say the U.S., I should say the deep state, spent $5 billion of the people's money to push the riots in Ukraine to overthrow an elected leader and then put their own person into power. Well, this was part of Obama's, John Kerry's, Biden's plan. And they pushed their agenda in Ukraine. When everything was all said and done, guess what? Vice President Biden's son, Hunter Biden, accepted a position on the board of Ukraine's largest private gas firm. So the vice president's son joined Burisma Holdings. So now he was on the board of Burisma. Now, that's not all. John Kerry's family friend also joined Burisma Holdings. Now, this is just kind of weird. So this was John Kerry's stepson that joined the board, and Joe Biden's son joined the Ukrainian gas producer. So both of them are on the board. Remember that. Also, Ukraine admits that their gold was stolen from them, 42.3 tons of missing gold. It was taken from the central bank. And going back in time, I mean, we reported all of this, but going back in time, we remember planes landed in the middle of the night and they loaded up boxes and boxes of something which I would assume was the gold. The question is, where is all this gold today? Think about it. Where is the gold from Syria? Where is the gold from Lebanon, Libya, Iraq, Ukraine? Who has it? Do the Patriots have it now? Is this the gold that Q is talking about? We don't know. Let's continue. So, 2 years after leaving office, Joe Biden couldn't resist the temptation last year to brag to an audience of foreign policy specialists about the time as vice president, and he strong-armed Ukraine into firing its top prosecutor. In other words, with the video cameras rolling, Biden described how he threatened Ukrainian President Poroshenko in March of 2016 that the Obama administration would pull $1 billion in U.S. loan guarantees, sending the former Soviet republic toward insolvency if it didn't immediately fire the prosecutor, General Viktor Shokin. Now the question is, why did they push so hard to get rid of the prosecutor? Was it because they just didn't like him? No. There's another reason. Ukrainian officials said that, yes, parts of the information, the part of the story that Biden told was true. But he didn't mention something very specific. The prosecutor he got fired was leading a wide-ranging corruption probe into the natural gas firm Burisma Holdings that employed Biden's younger son Hunter as a board member. U.S. banking records show Hunter Biden's American-based firm, Rosemont Seneca Partners, LLC, received regular transfers into one of its accounts, usually more than $166,000 a month, from Burisma from spring 2014 through 2015, during a period when Biden was the main U.S. official dealing with Ukraine and its tense relations with Russia. So the general prosecutor's official file for the Burisma probe shows and identifies Hunter Biden, business partner Devon Archer, and their firm Rosemont Seneca as potential recipients of money. Now today, this case has been reopened And it looks like the Ukrainian police agency that investigates corruption has dragged its feet in gathering evidence. And they're looking further and further into this to see what really happened. And Biden should have to answer these questions because it looks like they were covering up what they were doing out in Ukraine. And remember, this is not the only investigation. If we go back to post 3124, remember John Solomon tweeted out the following: Ukraine opens probe into foreign effort to influence U.S. election to help Hillary Clinton. So we have multiple investigations going on in Ukraine, which should tell you something, that there's just not investigations going on here in the United States. There are investigations going on around the world. And all these pieces are going to start to come together. I mean, think about the Uranium One investigation. Think about the Clinton email investigation. Now we have the Biden investigation. Then we have the Ukrainian investigation into Hillary Clinton trying to manipulate the elections for her. I mean, this is just unbelievable. Now, it looks like the Federalist, they have filed a Freedom of Information request to get the emails from the FBI to CNN on the day of Roger Stone raid. And it looks like they're having a little bit of a problem here because the FBI right now doesn't want to hand this over. Now, of course, we know CNN was tipped off. We know it wasn't journalist gut instinct that brought them to the right location at the right time to be the only news organization to film this. And it looks like at this point, the FBI is stonewalling the Federalists, but we'll have to see how this all plays out because I believe Judicial Watch is doing the same thing. Now, it looks like Nadler and team, they are pushing to get the Mueller report, the full report without redactions. They want everything. They want the docs, they want the information, they want the underlying documentation, they want it all, and they want it now. They can't wait. And Trump went on a Twitter storm. He tweeted out the following: in 1998, Representative Jerry Nadler strongly opposed the release of the Starr report on Bill Clinton. No information whatsoever would or could be legally released, but with the no collusion Mueller report, with the Dems' hate, he wants it all. Nothing will ever satisfy them. Robert Mueller was a godlike figure to the Democrats until he ruled no collusion in the long-awaited 30 million Mueller report. Now the Dems don't even acknowledge his name, have become totally unhinged, and would like to go through the whole process again. It won't happen. There is no amount of testimony or document production that can satisfy Jerry Nadler or shifty Adam Schiff. It is now time to focus exclusively on properly running our great country. So Attorney General Bill Barr has told Congress in a letter on Friday that the special counsel is assisting him with redactions prior to the releasing the report to the public. Jim Jordan came out and said, listen, this is why parts of the report need to be redacted. This is what he said. He said, you got the chairman of the Intelligence Committee, Adam Schiff, saying, go ahead and make public classified information. And then you have the chairman of the Judiciary Committee saying, go ahead and make public grand jury material. Now that's scary. This is where they're at because the Mueller report was not the bombshell they had hoped it would be. But when you have the head of the Intelligence Committee, the head of the Judiciary Committee saying, make public material that's not supposed to get public, that's not consistent with the law. That's just wrong, just plain wrong. So again, understand that this report was not only what they had hoped. First, the Cohen hearing they had was a flop. Then the Mueller report comes out, and it's not the bombshell they hoped. Remember what Bill Barr said? Special Counsel Mueller found no new indictments, no sealed indictments, no collusion, no obstruction. As definitive as you can get. Now, what they're saying is we want to find something. We have to find something because we're so committed to getting at the president and not focused on, frankly, doing what's best for the country. And that's what they're hoping for. They're hoping if they get this report, they can comb through it and find something because they were promised that something was in there. Remember, they're working off old intel. Who's in control? The Patriots. And I believe George Papadopoulos sums all of this up. He said the following in a tweet. The Democrats have absolutely no idea what they are wishing for in terms of releasing the full Mueller report. It will detail all the Western intelligence operatives and U.S. allies, UK, Australia, Italy, involvement in trying to set up Trump and his guys. Nothing Russia. And I do believe that Trump is out there saying, all right, you really want it, but look at this, but look at that. And he's hemming and hawing, and he's saying, listen, I'll do whatever Barr wants. I think they want the Dems to beg for this report. I mean, think about the strategy. Let them beg, let them beg, let them beg. When they receive it, and it shows everything the opposite of what they wanted, and it shows that U.S. allies were involved, I do believe they're going to say, what does it say? Please read it out to the public. Be completely transparent. This is what you wanted. And guess what they'll do? They'll say, no, we can't allow this to go out. No, we're not going to read this out loud to the public. We don't want the public to see this. That's what's going to happen. Because Trump is baiting them. The Patriots are baiting them into this. Every time Trump and the Patriots make them beg, it's on purpose because they know it's going to be the opposite of what they think they're getting. Their whole entire narrative is based on old intel. There were no leaks. There was no information. Remember, the old intel said Mueller's going to find something and he's going to produce it and give it to you. That's not happening. We see Representative Doug Collins release testimonial transcript of Bill Priestap right on schedule. Make everything transparent that has been happening. Let everyone see all the documentation behind closed doors. We see that the White House, they're out there saying that the Democrats are leaving us no choice in the decision to close the southern border. We have a national emergency, and we might have to close it. But we see that Mexico, well, it seems like they are shutting down the caravan. And we see that Trump is praising Mexico authorities for stopping the Central American immigrants after he threatened to close the southern border. So Mexico is now being controlled by the Patriots. They are on board, stopping the immigrants from coming through Mexico up to the U.S. The deep state, they are losing control all over the place. But something very interesting is that Trump is considering naming an immigration czar to manage the border of America. And we'll have to see if he goes through with this. But Trump did tweet out the following. I haven't seen any Democrats down here at the border working with us or asking to speak to any of us. They have an open invitation. We are getting overrun. Our facilities are over capacity. And what Trump is doing is each time he does this, he's exposing the deep state for who they are. They don't care about the American people. They care more for the illegals that are trying to get into this country than protecting the American people in the country. Remember, these people have not been vetted. They're just jumping over the border and they want to bring them to all these sanctuary cities. And that is unsafe. We don't want to let just anyone in the country. We don't want human traffickers. We don't want gang members. We don't want drug dealers. We don't want any of these individuals. But once again, Trump, the Patriots, they're exposing these individuals for who they really are. Now we see the NXIVM cult member who secretly pled guilty last week to charges of racketeering, conspiracy, admitted something very big. That this individual kept her own personal slave locked in a room for 2 years. And this is coming from an unsealed court document, which reveals this. Salzman told the judge she held the woman hostage between March 2010 and April 2012 and threatened to deport Jane Doe 4 back to Mexico if she did not complete labor requested by myself and others. The 42-year-old defendant also admitted during the proceeding to being a member of NXIVM's secret inner organization, Dominant Over Submissive, which is DOS, which prosecutors have accused of starving and branding women. So here we are once again, which shows there is something going on where these individuals are kept as slaves. And Q has been leading up to this, saying, watch Rachel Chandler. Something else is going to come out that's very, very big. Watch the news. Now, something very interesting. A Chinese woman was arrested at Mar-a-Lago while Trump was in town. Now, she was caught holding a thumb drive, malware, a computer, and she kind of lied her way in. The Secret Service was a little confused of who she was. They thought she was someone else in the club, and they found out that no, this wasn't the person, and she had 2 passports from China as ID. And the question is, who is Yu Zhang? Who is she? Why was she there with a computer, a thumb drive with malware on it? Was she trying to get information, or was she trying to plant malware on the computer system so the intelligence organization had access into Mar-a-Lago and they'd be able to get records, spy, and do whatever they had to do, or place records there so they could use them later? And this is unbelievable. There should be top news everywhere where someone snuck in with this while the president was there. But again, we don't see much of it. And we can see the deep state, they're becoming very, very desperate. And they're panicking. And you can see with all the investigations that are going on, with all the sealed indictments that are going to be unsealed, with everything that is happening, they are panicking like there's no tomorrow. And they're pushing for things. They're being baited into it. They're pushing for things they don't even know what's in it. They don't even know what's in the Mueller report, but they want it so bad because they're basing everything off of old intel. I mean, they thought they were safe. They thought they were in control. They thought nobody could touch them. They were completely wrong. They're all going down. The clock is ticking. The whole thing is being set up to take them all down all at the same time. And there is no escape. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.